Welcome to another episode of the caffeine. Wait, I got fucked that up, didn't I?
Just a little bit. So much for that.
All right.
As you can see, he hasn't had any caffeine from what it looks like. Let me help you out. They're Enhanced Caffeine Collective.
Are you sure that's what we're called?
I'm positive. I haven't forgot.
Well, it's not that I forgot. It's just that I had a little alcohol in me. That's why alcohol's bad for you, apparently.
Yeah, we're promoting caffeine here.
Yeah, we're promoting caffeine and conspiracies. But something that I wanted to touch on before we start this podcast, we're gonna continue our previous one. To those people listening, if I get shot 2 times in the back of the head, I did not commit suicide. I repeat, I did not commit suicide. Our last podcast was cut short due to quote unquote technical problems, which I can understand, right? We went pretty hard on the Pope and on the Catholic Church, and you can see they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. And what do? They cut us off. They cut us off like a sinner, like we ate meat on Fridays.
Yeah, and we're still trying to work on the audio because it took me a minute to get it. So just my portions, it was a headache, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming, just like your mama. So, anyways, to continue on our discussion, on the last podcast, we were talking about the Pope and how he's a demon in disguise. He's like a transformer, He's Optimus Prime Pope. He holds the Matrix within him, which Matrix is a penis.
Well, I guess he could be Optimus Prime because I was just thinking about like, wait, Optimus is good, but then it's like, okay, yeah, then I guess that would be his disguise because people would see him as a good person, but in reality, it's just kind of like one of those things. Look at this hand while this hand does this.
Yeah. Speaking of Transformers, when, like, for example, Optimus, he's just a fucking commie bastard. He's a red bastard. Oh, everybody's equal. Nobody needs to work. I wonder how they get their goddamn fuel. Fucking commie. I bet you he's Russian too. He has 18 wheels. That's why he's always Russian. Oh, it's a joke, sir.
No, I was gonna search Optimus where maybe they are. I was just gonna try to see if there were. I was gonna do a little bit of research on Optimus. Maybe he is Russian.
He's red.
Right.
Fucking commie. But anyways, so welcome to the Enhanced Caffeine Collective. I am Kiks with my co-host
Next.
All right, Mr. Next. We got that out of the way. First couple minutes and we're already cursing and calling Optimus Prime a fucking commie. How about that?
And it's gonna be a great podcast already.
Yeah, fuck. Have you seen those movies, by the way? Like, have you seen the Transformer movies?
Yeah. What is it? Just up to the second one, and then it kind of got.
Then they brought in John Cena.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum.
You can actually see him now. Yeah, me being a fucking, I love professional wrestling, and John Cena is a piece of shit in my opinion. I think that he sucks. He's not good at what he does. And that bald spot is pretty awesome, though. He should turn that into a move-defined bald spot. Go under the top rope and just fucking hit you with the bald spot, like bam, bitch.
So would it be like just? Don't like some people do that they get on the very top rope and then they just kind of do like a flip and land. I don't know what it's called, but I guess it's plausible.
No, yeah, they actually have this very awesome move called the top rope headbutt, where like this guy goes on top of a third rope, he jumps off and he lands on his opponent, giving him a fucking headbutt and himself a concussion. So.
Hey, And they say that it's fake.
It's scripted, assholes. It's scripted. All right. No, I mean you look in. I mean, shit, dude. These guys look at Chris Benoit. That's a
Yeah.
conspiracy. Well, I don't know when we're gonna talk about Chris Benoit again, but let's talk about Chris Benoit for a couple minutes. I know you're not familiar with professional wrestling, Mister Next, but
Yeah, I used to watch it, but I mean, I wasn't, that dedicated, I think, as you, that, religiously watches it or knows too much about it. But
a little too much, you know. I watch everything. I watch Japanese wrestling. I watch AEW, WWE, AAA, CMLL, MLW, all the promotions that that are on TV. I kind of watch. But anyways, talking about Chris Benoit, this man had the brain. I think he was like 40 something when he committed suicide. He killed his wife and his son.
oh,
Um,
that's right.
Yeah, he was 40 something when he killed them and killed himself. And when you know, they examined his brain, apparently he had the brain of a 65-year-old dementia patient because of all he used to do that thing. It's called the top rope headbutt. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all those concussions led him to have that disease. But in reality, once you start looking into the case of Chris Benoit, you start realizing like a lot of things don't make any sense. Like for example, his Wikipedia page. I think it was about an hour before they found the bodies. Someone edited the Wikipedia page to say that he committed suicide and he killed his family. And no one knew this. No one knew this at the time, right? Because there were still the WWE had they did a tribute show for him because they didn't know what he had supposedly done. And until later on, it was found out that hey, he did all this shit. The thing is, how did he kill himself? How did he kill How did he kill his wife Nancy and his son? And the biggest question is, who edited that freaking Wikipedia page later on? With their, oh yeah, we looked into it and we found the person, but he was just fucking around. Bullshit. You know, he died. I mean, he died, and the long standing theory about this, what happened was that the mob killed him because he was always
What?
paranoid. Uh, well, there's the thing. No one really knows why the mob killed him. Um, but it has to do with do this for me or transport this for me or do this for me or if not, I'm gonna kill you and your family. And I guess he didn't want to do it. And like any other famous person, you know.
So do he? So do you think he was like in the mob? Is it that maybe? I mean, we don't really know, as you said, but
No, yeah, I think that he was. I don't think he killed himself. Honestly, I don't think he killed himself because the way he killed himself. The way that they say he killed himself is he tied the weight cords. He had, when you have your own your personal gym, you have like this little.
mm-hmm.
I ever had one of those. So there's some cords that go into the weights. They're not free weights. They're like the machine weights.
Oh well.
Yeah, so he tied his fucking neck. He put a towel, keep in mind this guy had fucking that. He had the brain of a 65-year-old with dementia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he premeditated all this shit, and he put Bibles on them. And Chris Benoit was not particularly religious, um, and he hanged himself using those cable wires. So you're just like, that makes okay, that makes no sense. But yeah, it was ruled a murder suicide, and to this day, a lot of people think that actually someone else was in that house, someone else knew what happened, and that it wasn't a suicide at all. It was actually murder, triple
Mm-hmm.
murder. But he's been wiped from history, and anywhere you look, Chris Benoit, one of the best wrestlers you could imagine. He performed at a top level, world champion, and unfortunately, he's been scrubbed from history. No one wants to talk about it because he was labeled a murderer, and I still believe that I think it was fucking Kevin Sullivan. If whoever's listening to this podcast and also Kevin Sullivan is, kudos to you, buddy.
Who's that? Is that like the Vince McMahon?
he Well, he used to be the booker of WCW, and it's crazy how Chris Benoit met his wife. So Kevin Sullivan used to be married to Nancy, and he wrote a story about Chris Benoit stealing Nancy from Kevin Sullivan, and they made a whole wrestling angle. Angle is like a storyline, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That he stole his wife and blah blah blah. Well, fiction turned into reality. He actually did steal his wife. So this guy's like a satanic crazy bastard. His whole character was always like satanic, like dark, very
Hell
evil.
yes.
Oh yeah, I forget. You like the yeah. So it was fucking Kevin. That should have been your name, Kevin Sullivan.
Can we still change it? Right now, then I end up dead tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's Chris Benoit who fucking killed you. It's quite hard to tell you. But anyways, I digress. So we'll continue speaking, Mr. Next, about how satanic you are. You bastard.
Not even. But that's interesting, though, that I guess just everywhere there's just some sort of
conspiracy, right?
Yeah, with everything. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just people can't catch a break, whether it be, like trying to get away from the Illuminati, or in this case,
No, yeah, and then no matter what sport you play, whatever successful. I mean, I think success comes with this, with all these attachments, right? Like you have to be part of this occult shit. If you're not, then you're dead. Look at going back to Transformers. Look at Shia, what's his name?
Buff.
LaBeouf? Yeah,
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. This fucker, like, you see him coming up, and then like he's successful. He's on all these movies, Indiana Jones 4, and then everybody hates this cocksucker, right? Because they give him everything. Like, oh no, he's in this movie. Now he's in Transformers. Now he's in this other movie, and everybody hated his fucking guts because they were pushing him down our throats. Later on, you come to find out that he has a drug problem. He had everything, right? He has movies. He has fucking TV shows. He had everything, and then we come to find out that he had a massive fucking drug problem, and you got to question yourself, why? Right? Like, why did he have this massive drug problem? All these arrests and everything, and it's because they get exposed to all this shit, right? They get exposed to all this fucking like baby killing, baby drinking blood bullshit. That's what I've heard. You talk to people that have actually experienced these, have experience with Hollywood, have experience with all these fucking very famous people, very wealthy people, and you listen to their stories, and it's crazy. And we've only gotten small snips, of what actually happened. Look at Epstein Island. They had a whole island where they would go and diddle kids, right?
Damn.
And we still don't believe. We still don't. We don't want to believe that this shit exists. Come on, it does. All these girls, you see on TV, they're beautiful, but on the inside, they're dying because they had to fuck all these old sons of bitches.
Just to catch a break, just to get that role or whatever it is that they're trying to get.
Yeah, and then you start seeing them after a while, and it sucks. Like Disney stars, the little girls that are on the Disney Channel. You just look at it and I was like, "Fuck, dude, that sucks." The parents give them to these fuckers, and they're like, "Yeah." And if they tell you, Mister Next, I'll give you $100 million just to blow me, I'm pretty sure you'll blow a some bitch. And don't say
less.
Shit, yeah. For $50.
I mean, if times were to get tough, then you never know. But no, like exactly, and that's I think the harsh reality of when you're trying to make it in that business, that you don't have anything really, I guess, going for yourself and that sort of thing, and that you go do an audition, and then that, I wouldn't even say opportunity, that just happens, or that agent or whatever, they ask you to do something for it, and then what are you to do at that point?
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? And then you start and it's bad enough that they get traumatized sexually, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you start, like I said, once we start getting more, a little bit more deep into this whole conspiracy and satanic rituals and all of that, we start learning more terminology like white hats and stuff like that. But uh, for example, some of these rituals involve the sacrificing of human lives. They involve sacrificing babies, sacrificing virgins. You start going into this and you start realizing how perverted and how insane things are. Um, Going into our topic for today, continue talking about the Pope and the Catholic Church. They the reason why they take so many things. If you go to a church and you go to mass and you sit there and you analyze what's happening, you're part of it's like it's a ceremony, but it's more like a ritual, you know? They take everything they say they take everything from the Bible and they take it very literal, like right, like blood, and when you take communion, right? They give you the body of Christ, the blood of Christ, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to eat that. Fuck that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But everything's so literal. We don't understand that what life meant. Like life is like what he taught us to do. His body. It's not literal. Like here, yeah, this is my body. Basically, no, that he gave himself off so our sins will be forgiven, right? If you don't believe in that kind of stuff. So uh, baptism, right? When they throw water in you, I mean, there's so many different things that they take literal. And when we speak about, you have to wash yourself in blood. That's what they do. Some of these fucking occultists, they literally shower themselves in blood. That being, human blood or whatever blood, but they actually do it because they take everything that they read literal. And they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna shower in blood to purify yourself, or to give you a long lasting life, or to uh, it's insane, man. It's insane that how stupidity, uh, how humans are so stupid and brainwashed to believe all this shit.
Oh, yeah, and I think kind of going back to everything, like it's just a matter of how connected, I guess, that people want to be with that. What would you call it? With that society, because I mean, it's not the same as the world we live in. Because it's once you're into that entertainment industry, you're officially you belong to a whole different group, or I don't know how you can phrase it, but it it just gets pretty wild, after a while.
Yeah, and it's not limited to the entertainment, industry, like that be it sports or whatever. I mean, you start talking about religion, right? Religion, there's always not hierarchy. There's always someone on top telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're part, and it all comes down to like we were talking about on our last podcast. You want to feel that you belong somewhere, right? And even though in your deepest, in your core being, that what you're doing is wrong and it doesn't make sense, you still want to do it because you want to belong. You want to,
Exactly, and I think that's what entraps people, and it just becomes something that is very difficult to kind of step away from, even though, I mean, everybody knows right from wrong, but at the end of the day.
right. So I mean, in our bodies, in our bodies, when we're born, we have certain things, right, that we know. No one teaches a baby that he's supposed to drink his mama's milk, right? He
Mm-hmm.
just we have instincts, right? We know some of those instincts that we have, like the fear of heights. Even though you could be you can jump off a fucking airplane, right? But deep inside, you're like, fuck, dude, I shouldn't be up here. I shouldn't be jumping off a fucking plane. It's kind of scary, or the fear of drowning, right? We all have that fear, even though you could be like your whole family were fishermen and you're a fisherman, you still go to high seas on a boat, and you're still going like, fuck, dude, what if I drown? We all have that.
Yeah.
Those are instincts, like natural instincts, and it comes with what other instincts do we have? It's throughout whatever whatever generation or whatever civilization they has came before us. We all had the instinct to look up into the sky, right? We all have that instinct, like, what's up there? Who's up there? And that we, for whatever good or bad we speak about religion, we all still look up there. You can be an atheist, but deep inside you, you're like, huh, what's up there? We all have that instinct. And that's what they take advantage of. They're like, oh, yeah, this guy, we found this book in the desert and it said that, Asians are evil. And I shit you not, there's gonna be people that believe that Asians are fucking evil, and we're gonna praise the round-eyed God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's basically what Catholicism is. They took advantage of the fact that there's this book, right? And in this book, it speaks in metaphors and similes and all this other things. So they take parts, bits, and pieces from that book. They change the wording around, or they take things literal, and that's what they use to indoctrinate people into this religion. We have a pope, we have cardinals. On the bottom of that, we have the priests, right? And what makes these people special? What makes them closer to God than us? What makes a priest special? Just because he doesn't fuck women? Bullshit. You go to a small town, I guarantee you the priest is fucking somebody. Fucking
Yeah.
priest was, yeah. The
It's human
nun,
nature, like anybody, like
yeah.
everybody. Like, I don't think their willpower is that superior than somebody else to not have those urges. Something has to give. Like, it's just the human body.
Yeah, and it's like, how do we stop this freaking pandemic of priests raping kids? Simple. Let them fuck a girl, right? Let them get married. Let them start a family. Like, why do they not? Why do they have to be celibate? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't one of the mandates of Jesus was, go forth and procreate, fuckers of God,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wasn't it like, oh yeah, go make more fucking humans? So why are these people going? There you go. See, they're going against the word of God. It's insane. There's no. I think the only other religion that does that are the Buddhists. They have their monks. They're celibate and they don't touch women or they don't see women. And I think that's fucking stupid. I think that they should be able to get married and be able to enjoy a family. That way they can see, like, hey, you know, diddling kids is not cool.
And like those priests that have been accused of doing that, have they been removed? As far as I know, to my knowledge, they're still part of the church, right?
Right.
They were never really fully exfoliate or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. Like,
Excommunicated.
yeah.
Exfoliated. I'm gonna exfoliate you, you motherfucker, you greasy son of a bitch. I'm gonna take this fucking alcohol pad, exfoliate their skin, killing them kids. You need to have a clear skin, no fucking acne at all. So yeah, they excommunicated. That's the word we're looking
Fucking
for.
John Wick.
So no, I mean, they haven't been excommunicated. They throw them in jail whenever they can actually catch them, because you got to understand the way that they do things in the Vatican is that they pretty much want to handle their own fucking business there. So
But
they'll
why
just
is it
move
that
it.
they're above the law? Like at that point, that like so what they're
In certain countries, well, in certain countries, you got to understand Catholicism is the number one religion. It's like Muslims in certain countries, right? They can do whatever the fuck they want. For example, like in Iran, right? They have Sharia law. They follow Sharia law, meaning that like let's say a woman is has sex before marriage, she's liable to get fucking stoned to death because she's a whore. Um, Same thing in Catholicism. There's countries like in Mexico where Catholicism is the number one religion, and they have a lot of power. They have a lot of sway. Here in the United States, there's a lot of Catholicism is one of the premier religions, and they have a lot of sway. I think the president of the United States is Catholic, Mr. Joe fucking Biden, old son of a bitch. Yeah, I don't like Joe Biden. He's a fucking moron. But anyways, that's another podcast for a different day. Um, and the reason why it's difficult, it's very difficult to pinpoint a priest, because once they start hearing rumblings like, oh yeah, he's diddling kids, they switch him to another parish. Like for example, he'll be here in California, and okay, now he's going down to Guatemala, and then from Guatemala he's going to Peru. From Peru, he's going to South Africa. From South Africa, he's going to China. Why? Because they just, he's a fucking diddler, and they protect him. They protect the fucking priests. They would excommunicate a priest for having a relationship with a woman, but not for diddling kids.
like what the
That's a
fuck?
fucking twisted and fucking ridiculous.
So you
This
you 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 go to tell me that if like fucking he gets the hots for a nut and they go and fuck and then like it's okay, but or it's not okay, and then
It's not okay.
for a for a kid it's just complete like it just makes no sense at all whatsoever.
Yeah. So it's more of a sin for him. For like, there's this priest. He was the priest to the stars. It's just freaking a guy from Florida. And this guy, he started this radio station, and like he was bringing in Catholics back and forth. He was converting motherfuckers. I think he married J Lo 17 times. Um, Anyways, this whole thing was happening. They found him that he had a relationship with a woman. Dude, excommunicated right on the spot. But I mean, if he was diddling kids, I guarantee you they would have moved him from Florida to fucking North Korea, just to keep him away from, just to keep him in the. Then again, we start seeing maybe they have something. Maybe the priest knows something that we don't, right? I don't know. I think they have to go through the seminary school. In the seminary school, they teach them shit. What exactly, we don't know, because no priest is ever gonna tell you what they learned. It's like we when we jump into the occult again, the whole exorcism thing. They teach there's priests, special priests, because not every priest can do this.
Right.
The exorcist, right? Exorcist
Mm-hmm.
priest. And you're like, how the fuck do you know how to take out a demon? Right? Like, they must have some sort of, in the Vatican, they must have some sort of text, some sort of book, something that explains what a fucking demon is. Because how the fuck are you gonna beat it up? It's like you put on like boxing gloves or whatever, it's going 2 rounds, motherfucker. How do you do it? Like, it's insane. I've always been mesmerized by that. How can a human being go head to head with the demon, or with something, paranormal like that? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it always, I call bullshit on it, but then again, I don't know, dude. These fucking guys.
Yeah, and then I mean they don't go into too much detail because that talking about that there was some other podcasters that I listened to that they actually interviewed a priest about that about if exorcists are actually real, and he went to say that they have performed it, and then like you said that not everybody is capable of harnessing those abilities because everybody has, basically not everybody is as strong to perform them because they
Yeah,
are very strenuous. But like he doesn't really go in, like he does go into details talking about the demons, but he doesn't really, say, or maybe I'm not remembering how, or like him, like with your question that you're having is like, what is a demon, or what's, their characteristics that consider somebody a demon, or consider, whatever
being possessed.
the, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's interesting. I believe, this is my belief, that these cocksuckers are demons. I think that the Pope is a demon. I think all those fucking cardinals that he has around him are fucking demons. I think the priests are fucking like demons, in training. These guys are not good people. And if you fucking stand next to one of these fuckers, bishops, all this, and you see how the way just the way they dress, they dress in this robes, they carry this fucking cane, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, why? That's always been one of my questions, and I've asked. Like I said, I have a friend that's a Franciscan priest, and I ask him, "What the fuck you guys are?" He gives me the standard explanation. Oh, this is some George or some Peter's robe, or this is the staff of Saint Nicholas. I don't know, the bag of Santa Claus. I have no idea. You know what I mean? But the question still remains: why do they dress like that? What are they? What are they trying to portray? I
Mm-hmm.
know they're trying to say, hey, we're holier than you. I know they're trying to say, oh, look at us, we're more connected to God than you. But still, don't you think it's a little strange?
Completely, entirely, like, because also don't they have like certain wardrobe or clothes that they wear for mass as opposed to like their everyday? Because of course they're not wearing the same robe that they, or they don't use all that on a daily. It's a certain type of
Wardrobe.
clothing, yeah, wardrobe
Yeah,
that they go about using. So it like, how do they go about choosing it?
right. So the like I actually have asked that question because I've seen like different colors and different shapes and whatever, right? And I've asked my friends like, hey, but like, where you guys just like, oh, there's seasons, like holy seasons. So for like, let's say they have a holy period, like which that's another fucking thing. Like, what makes a fucking period holy? Like right now, we're in fucking like a holy week and all that garbage.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck does it make? It's during the Jesus and all this bullshit. But you're like, we're celebrating his death, like the cross. That's one of those things that have always pissed me off. That have that people when they wear crosses or when they wear or when they have like Jesus's crucifixion on the wall. Like you're just like, so let's say my brother gets a fucking electrocuted to death right on the electric chair. Hey, he died for our sins, that's true, but why the fuck would I have a picture of him getting fucking electrocuted? Just to remind myself he died because, bullshit. They murdered this guy. Why the fuck do I keep reminding myself, hey, look, this is how he died? Like, goddamn. I'd much rather have a picture of him giving me two thumbs up and go like, hey, like the fonts. You get me? Like, I get it. Like, dude got beat up. Like, dude got fucking like crucified. I understand. You don't have to fucking remind me. But back to why they wear different colors and all that. So like the whole like Holy Week and all that, they have to wear like purple. And like for the during some fucking season they have to wear red. During some fucking season they have to wear green and orange. And it's like, what if you guys go into fucking crypt territory and it's that season you gotta wear red? What happens now, bitch? You can get shot. That's gonna happen. They get blasted. Go down to
So,
South Central, motherfucker, wearing red. Let's see or blue. See what happens. Where you from, Padre?
and then that just goes to show that like it's I guess at the end of the day, essentially almost borderline cult because, like, what do they seriously allow them to do? Like, they're basically just essentially controlling and manipulating at the end of the day because they're like, if that's what's written, that's like their law or what, however you want to put it. But like, they can't wear other colors other than that for this day.
Yeah, while performing mass, they have to wear a certain color or a certain wardrobe that it is dictated by like a certain like season or holy day or whatever.
Oh, okay. So, but like
Mm,
outside, like it doesn't really
yeah, they wear the
follow.
little collar and the black or
Hmm.
whatever. I mean, they wear regular clothes, right? I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask if they wear regular underwear. I should. I think they wear like fucking long johns or some shit.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like going back to what I had said about meeting that person that, and you kind of touch base about it too, about how like they basically want them to kind of suffer of what Jesus
Mm.
did and like him being poor and everything, and how they kind of have to fulfill that path of their righteousness, but like after that happens, like they're giving riches, they're giving, like they're giving everything, but what is it that they're allowed to buy? Like they're what gonna go out and buy Gucci belt, and you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't know if that makes sense, I guess, to like what I'm trying to get at, but
no, I know what you're trying to say, but it's to the point where we were asking what do they teach them in seminary school? It's not they're not really teaching them shit. They're brainwashing them because a priest is like the bottom of the totem pole. These fuckers they make a very minimal salary and they get money from the parish. They get money from whoever, like from the churchgoers. Um, to like tips. I guess you tip your server, right? Now tip
mm-hmm.
your fucking priest. He's gonna give you an iPad like 50%, bro. Yeah, fuck it. They get they get tips and they have a little salary and they live off tips just like a waiter does. I guess that what? Now you think about waiters and priests, they kind of dress alike.
Yeah, now that you say it, I mean, for the most part, I guess the only thing that they need is that white collar portion, and that's it. Because for the most part, in some of them, they wear all black.
Yeah, it's like, bring me the wine and the bread. This is the body of Christ and this is the blood of Christ. Bring it to me.
today, today, this is what we're offering.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're all out today.
It's a little bit dry, sir.
This is the chef's
Fucking chef is the
chef
Pope.
special.
Damn. Anyways, so yeah, so that's how they live.
Ask
So
your friend what type of wine, because I mean, it's not gonna be your freaking.
they don't actually. You know what I've asked? Like all those questions I've asked. Like I know that wine is like it's just regular table wine, like regular
Uh-huh.
and it just has to be blessed. So that's what they do when they bless it and they put it in the freaking little cups and they have to say a special prayer that they don't fucking say out loud for some fucking reason. They just go like whatever the fuck they're speaking in Latin. You see, that's where we get to fucking problems when you fucking don't tell me what the fuck is he saying. Why is he speaking in fucking Latin? I don't speak no fucking Latin. Wait, Padre, what was that? you know?
And yeah, because then that just bring back another thing from that podcast that I heard was that was also something that when people get possessed, that's something that they go back and they speak Latin, and it's just like, well, why Latin? Why not freaking Spanish,
Yeah, you think
English?
demons been
Like,
around? Yeah, they've been around for forever. They motherfuckers can't bother. Well, fuck, my daddy and my mama don't speak no English, and they've been in this country for forever. You know what I mean? So I
it
mean, I
just
get it. It's a lazy
strictly just
Mexican
yeah,
devil.
like the Jersey Devil.
He's wearing a sombrero, like, yeah, Nakamura, like, I'll
Tijuana.
possess you right now, Cuate, amigo. And then I'll fucking go work on your yard afterwards. Let's say, don't worry. Give me possesses me real quick.
Hey, it's what is it, La Cruda? They're just hung over.
They just hung over. Like, shit,
That's basically what it is. You know how they say like, oh yeah, they'll vomit and it's all green and shit. That's basically just what it is. Like a possessed person is just somebody that's hung over.
That hung over. But
uh,
yeah, so like that's what it is, you know. But like I was saying, like so the priests are like the bottom, right? They're like all like they're the brainwashed. So only a few of them can actually move up the ladder to be like more of a leader, and then he moves up and becomes a bishop, and then he moves up to be one of those like the cardinals, and then after that, you know, if he becomes, you know, he digivolves into fucking the pope. That's how that like that's the fucking chain of command.
So they have to go back and continue learning. What else do you learn? Like
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like what makes him special? What makes him go like, hey, you know, this guy's more connected to God than the rest of us poor folk. And in reality, that's my point. Who do they talk to? Right? Like, what do they read? Like, how come we can't read that? That should clue you in that anybody that says that I'm closer to God than you doesn't want the best for you because they're like, yeah, well, if you come see me, you're gonna be cool. Like when you go and confess your sins to another human, like what the fuck? And he absolves your sins and tells you, oh, you're Gucci now. The fuck? What gives you that power, asshole? You know what makes you able to absorb my sins? Are you gonna get crucified? Because shit, I got some fucking 4x4s on the back I need to get rid of. You know, shit. We'll fucking don't worry. We'll do a fucking thing right now. So we have you know, Catholicism is actually a lot of it is like it's a mishmash of different old religions like paganism and all that. You know, the whole we have Carnaval, we have all that bullshit. Which is pagan, you know, Carnaval. With a lot of South American countries celebrate Carnaval, they don't understand that Carnaval means carne, val, so means it's basically like the during the pagan holidays is when they would sacrifice to the god Baal. So like you know, again, we speak about religion and we speak about things that we don't understand, and you know that's one of them. We just celebrate sometimes things that we don't understand, that we don't know. Like, oh shit, I shouldn't be fucking celebrating this, or hey, we shouldn't even be doing this because you know we just do it because it's part of our customs, right? Like I said, keep going with the Catholic religion. Why are so many people, you know, they worship the Virgin Mary and all these saints because it's ingrained in us, right? Like if you walk into a Mexican household, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see a statue of the Virgin Mary, a portrait of the Virgin Mary. What they don't understand is that the Catholic Church used the Virgin Mary to freaking pillage and rape the indigenous people that were there because they didn't want to celebrate, they didn't want to be Catholic, right? They had their own religion. You know, we had our own religion. And then it was way more advanced. They knew science, shit that you know the Catholics didn't know, right? So what they used was like, okay, we need someone or something that's gonna turn all these fuckers Catholic. What could it? Oh, look at this fucking Indian, this motherfucker. Hey, you saw some shit, huh? No, here's $50. Yeah, I saw this thing glowing, and you know, he told me, hey, you know, me fucking had little horns, and then he said, okay, it's me. So then they're like, oh, yeah, let's see his side, and he's one of yous. So you should join him. And that's when they started brainwashing the fucking Mexican people into believing and then to becoming Catholics. And look what happened. They took over Mexico for fucking years and years and years. The priests are, they still are, you know, in power of certain communities. They're the, you know, the be all end all. They're the original Chapo Guzmans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you were against the priest, you were shunned. If you were, I have a story, man, about this. When I was in Mexico, I was in Mexico for a while. One of my many trips down Mexico way, and And there was this new priest coming into town. I was fucking eating. I was cooking. I was cooking some fucking chicken. Ooh, I love cooking. I was cooking some chicken in my oven. Fuck, dude. I had some guacamole, some fucking sauce. I was like fucking mashed potatoes. I was like, it's funny. I go to Mexico and I cook American food. Ain't that fucking sad? But anyways, I was making me some fucking chicken, and when my brother comes, he's like, "Hey, there's gonna be a new priest. The whole town is gonna go welcome him." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck. Take your priest. Like, don't you rather have some fucking chicken? It's like, well, after we welcome the priest, and I'm like, whatever the fuck. Go do whatever the fuck you want to do. He goes. I'm cooking my chicken, like fucking in the oven. I'm like fucking, whipping my mashed potatoes with some of that beautiful Mexican butter. And I look out my fucking window, and guess what I see? The fucking priest is staring right at me, dude, because my kitchen, like the door, like there's a little window staring out into the main street. And I'm looking out the fucking window, and the fucking priest is there, right? And he's staring me right in the eyes, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I wave at him, right? Like, hi. Like, and he does the cross. And I'm like, back at you, bro. He just walks the fuck away. But what surprised me about this thing was like my brother wasn't kidding. Like, I want to say about 85-90% of the town actually was behind him, walking him into the town. And I'm like, God damn. Right? Like, what the fuck?
Like he was the holiest of holies, just
Yeah, and that's something that we don't, we shouldn't be doing that. Like, they shouldn't be. If you want to believe in the Bible or God or whatever you want to believe in, you know, I don't think we should be following other humans. Like, oh, those humans, they're better than us. Fuck that. It's like same thing I feel about fucking skin color or where you come from. I just don't like fucking China, right? Chinese are a bunch of assholes. Not all of them, but my majority of them are dicks. Um, you know, just because you look different than me doesn't mean you're different. Just because your skin color is a little darker than mine doesn't mean you're different. You just have, you're good at, like, black men have bigger penises, you know. Hey, good for that, good. But you shit like that, it doesn't mean they're different. Or they're bad people just because they come from a different country. Now you want to talk about fucking assholes. You go to India, right? Fucking India, they'll scam the shit out of you. But it's not their fault. That's what they do. They got to make money somehow, and they shaking their heads. You know how hard it is to fucking drive a car or to fucking ride a bike, and the way they shake their fucking head. Oh no, sir, I cannot go. I cannot. They'll fucking fall over, bro. They have to scam you. They have no other choice. What the fuck can they do? They can wait a table. They go like, oh shit, they'll drop your drinks. Goddamn, no more tip for them.
that's the way of life.
Yeah, but like I said, going back to that, the way they fucking they screwed Mexico. So they had Juan Diego. They gave him a $50 bill, right? They're like, here you go, sir. Take that, put it in your pocket. Now you saw this, and that. Okay, yeah, you gotta build the church right where we had the Aztec Empire, right in Mexico City. They build their fucking church, and all of a sudden, the indigenous people of Mexico starting to believe this bullshit. They started converting into Catholicism. And then again, if you didn't fucking convert into Catholicism, you got shot. Right? And now the people that were Catholics, they were all fucking, they were white. They were Spaniards. And what do? They start enslaving people. Right? They start having like the haciendas, the caciques, the fucking rancheros. They would have fucking big ass houses. They were white, and then they had these fucking the indigenous people work for them on their land, and they would fucking how did they subjugate them? by using religion. Oh yeah, well God said that. Yeah, you gotta work for me. Or hey, dude. There's not enough fucking meat. You know what, fool? Just tell them that God said they can't eat meat on Fridays during Holy Week. That'd be good. Hey man, all of a sudden, hey bro, no, you cannot eat meat on Fridays, motherfucker. While these motherfuckers are over here chewing down fucking turkey. You know, that's where it comes from. The whole fucking not eating meat on Fridays during holy the 40 holy days or whatever comes from the fact that there wasn't enough meat for everybody. So they're like, well, fuck, these cucksuckers, they tell them, hey, they can eat meat on Fridays. I'm like, really? Yeah. Fuck them. They're gonna believe it anyways. I'm like, oh yeah. But they believe that motherfucker dressed in white is a fucking he talks to God. Motherfucker, they're
What
gonna
does it?
believe it.
What does it matter?
Yeah, like they're gonna believe it anyways. Like, yeah. I wonder if one like I wonder if like I go outside and I start going like I put on like a white robe and a pointy hat. Wait, no, that's KKK. Never mind.
Ron Cole.
Yeah. And I'd be like, I talk to God. How many people will believe? They'll throw my ass into a fucking loony bin, huh?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on really what you're trying to do, or what you're trying to, or where you're actually going with it, how far you're trying to take it. I mean, I'm sure if you could only get so far. I mean, like if you're talking about going to church and trying to get past them gates, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason why I stopped being Catholic because I grew I understood shit, you know? Like I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not stupid. Like, why are you telling me that? Like, nah, man. And I guess the biggest moment that stopped me from being a Catholic was one day. I remember this clearly. My dad used to take me to church. Every Sunday, he'll wake my ass up. Like, I'll be like, I'll drink like a 12 pack. Because I started drinking at fucking 11 or 12. I don't remember. I just fucking steal beer. So I'll give you like, I'll hang over like that. Hey, we're going to church. Ah, fuck. So he'll walk us to church. I still remember the name of the church, Santo Dilia. We used to go to church and we used to sit. And my dad, man, being my dad was always a hard worker, dude. Like he always had, he was always working, and he always dressed, he was dressed pretty sharp, pretty okay. On this occasion, I don't remember why he was, but I remember he wasn't dressed, real, sharpy. He
Mm-hmm.
was just normal. Like I think he was wearing dicky pants or whatever, and something. He wasn't really. I guess he wasn't planning to go to church, but we went and we sat down in the bench next to some cocksuckers, right? Some fucking people. And they looked at my dad and they looked at me and they fucking scooted. Like they're like, nah, we don't want to be next to you.
What?
And we're like, this is the environment that we want to be in. And you look at it, it's like, this is the teachings of these cocksuckers. This is what they're teaching these people to be against each other, to see that he's lower than me. So yeah, fuck him. That wasn't the only thing, right? After that, my dad went to go get the whatever the fuck, the little piece of bread they give you. And my dad, like, again, he was raised in Mexico, so he got used to, I guess, they feed it to you or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and that's where he went. He went to get, they fed him that fucking little piece. The priest screamed at him and said, "Hey, take it in your hand." And my dad looks at him and like surprised, like, what the fuck? Why are you screaming at me? And like, I swear to God, dude, I was gonna take flight on this little bald headed fucking priest. I was gonna knock his little bitch out. I
I'm
was already,
surprised you didn't.
yeah. I mean, I'm surprised too, but like, a church full of Mexicans, that believe in that he's a good guy, right? It wasn't gonna turn out good for me. I was probably gonna get my ass jumped by a bunch of people. I don't know, I'll probably get whooped by his little freaking belt. No, no. So I would have fucking beat his ass, but it kind of reaffirmed to me like this is what happened earlier with the people's like not wanting to sit next to my dad and myself, and what this guy's doing made me believe that yeah, this religion is not correct. This religion is teaching things that are not correct. They're not teaching love and kindness and like helping each other out. What they're teaching is money, money, money.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever looks good, whoever donates the most, money. And what did Jesus say? It's easier for an elephant to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get through heaven. Why do we have religions that are super rich, right? If any religion, if anything like, anything that is true and righteous, I think that it will be like a man, like a poor man, like a broke man, like a homeless man sitting down and talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody, is more holy than me, is that man that sits in the corner when it's raining, when it's fucking there's blizzards or whatever, and he doesn't have a place to stay. He doesn't have a home to go to. He doesn't have a family. He doesn't have anybody that loves him. I think that person is holier than me because that person is going through some shit. And if anybody has a right or a chance to get into whatever heaven you believe in, I think it's that person. That person that never had a chance. That person that was beat up. That person that went through that someone fucked them and stabbed them in the back. Or that person that lost everything because of no fault of his own. That person that made the wrong choice and is paying for it, for the rest of his life. Right? There's no holier than thou. There's no one that wears gold that's holier than me. There's no one that sits in a golden throne that's holier than me. And that's my fucking point. You know, these motherfuckers should be humble. These
Mm-hmm.
motherfuckers should be fucking helping people, should be out in the streets, fucking like helping those people, those homeless people, those people that are sick, going out and
And they're
getting them
far
doctors.
from it.
Of course. Because it's not profit. There's no money to be made. The, the Vatican, it's a multi-trillion-dollar business. The Catholic Church is a multi-trillion-dollar business. It's not it is a religion, but it's more of a business than a fucking religion. And that's my fucking problem with it. And that's why I always will and always gonna talk shit, especially about Catholicism. Because I think that it stole all that gold that the fucking Vatican has and all that gold that the fucking all those shrines have. Where does it come from? It came from
Mm-hmm.
the fucking Mexico. It came from fucking those underdeveloped countries that they went and they raped for. And we still go and fucking praise that? And they still want us to fucking kneel in front of fuck you. That's my fucking daddy's goal. Look at it. I see its tooth right there. Motherfucker. Like,
And,
nah, motherfucker.
and that's what how brainwashed people are to not really be able to understand and see the truth of how things are behind closed doors, because I mean, yeah, that's something that I've always questioned and seen as to why is it that they wanna they want you to kind of give more when at the end of the day it's like, what does it matter? I thought the only thing that matters is your faith and how you're proceeding, I guess, everything. But I don't know, because that's been my thing too, that
And,
I've
and that
questioned.
and that's correct. I mean, and that's the right thing. We should all have whatever religion or whatever you believe in. We should all have a personal connection to that, right? We show, okay, you want to read a Quran, fucking read the Quran and have a be personalized with it, right? Like understand it, and if you don't know how to understand it, yeah, maybe there's someone that has a little more experience and tries to explain it to you, right? Same thing
Mm-hmm.
with the Bible, same thing with whatever the Torah, right? They okay, there's someone that understands it a little better, that has researched it or has a little more information on it, then yeah, okay, cool. I can understand being a pastor or a rabbi, even a priest. Like, I get it. But once you start saying that this cocksucker knows more than you, and because of that, he's holier than you, fuck that, right? And so, I mean, it makes no sense. You know, it makes no sense. You know, a professor that teaches you, you go to college, right? You get a fucking degree, a PhD. Once you get that PhD and you go up to that professor, that son of a bitch ain't gonna tell you, I'm a PhD level 2, bitch. You know, you're become equal. When are you gonna be equal to a priest
Mm-hmm.
unless you become a fucking priest? You can't. When are you gonna be equal to the Pope? You can't because you can't be a fucking Pope. So that's like, it shouldn't be. Like, that shouldn't exist. Yet, we are all taught or we're all brought up. It's a fucking scam, man. It's a fucking scam. The Catholic Church is all a fucking scam. And I mean, it's not just the Catholic Church that's at fault here. You know, in the next podcast, we're going to talk about the mega churches. These fucking churches, right? Like the preachers, the Protestants, they're fucking insane too. These guys are even, but you know, it's the only like saving grace about the Protestants is that they fucking tell you, I'm gonna buy a jet with this cocksucking money. I'm gonna buy a jet. I'm gonna drive a Bentley. Like, fuck you. You want to give me your money to buy myself a Bentley while you eat fucking rice and beans for dinner? Fuck it, bro. At least they tell you what's it for, right? They don't hide it. Be like, oh, this is for some dying child in Africa. His name is me. It's my left pocket. You know, they tell you I'm buying a fucking jet. So if you want to donate to that, you know, feel free to.
And
And
a lot
people
of
do.
people still do.
They do, man. I've actually watched this interview. I think it's like around 3 hours long. You know, it's like I really have no life sometimes. So I watched this interview. Like he's getting it's a deposition. This on tax evasion of this fucking minister. And like the shit that he says, you know, it's fucking hilarious. It's like, oh, how come you're wearing Armani to your fucking, you know, like to your, oh, it's because I'm on television. And then I swear a lot. They're like, and like clothes from like a fucking Walmart one cut. Oh no, they don't look good on TV. You're like, what the fuck, bro? Like, all right.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like we'll talk about it on next podcast. You know, the whole fucking Protestant and the fucking of the whole mega churches and all that shit, how that works. Because I mean, if I can talk shit about Catholics, watch me talk shit about the Protestants. I'm an equal hate, you know, dispenser. I don't care who you are or what you are. I like you. I like you. If I don't, I'm gonna tell you so. Right,
and
Mister
that's
Next?
and honestly, I follow that same philosophy. I'm the same way. If like anywhere, honestly, if I don't like you, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not just yeah. Honestly, I live by those rules too.
Yeah, man. That's when we get along, Mister Next. That's when we get along. See?
I can't be fake. I can't like that's just one thing that drives me fucking nuts is
Well,
I
it's not
can't.
necessarily being fake when you talk to someone you don't like, because we all have to swallow our pride. You know, I have this thing. I don't know if I ever told you, where if I don't like you, I still have to talk to you. But there's one thing I will never do. I'll never sit down to eat at the same table as you. Like that's how you know if I don't fucking like you. Because if we're eating and you're there on that table, I won't sit next to you, or I won't sit at the same table you will. Because I think sharing a meal with someone is very personal, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very like intimate. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's reserved for people that you actually care for or like, and that that's like the biggest form of being a fucking two face is like sharing a meal with someone you really don't fucking like. And there's certain you'll see it like when if we ever interact more or have lunch. There's you're gonna see me like they'd be like, yeah, I'm not sitting next to you when we eat. And that's the way I see it. If I still have to talk to you, I guess I'll have to talk to you. But
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I won't ever sit down and have a meal with you. Like, fuck you. You know, that's reserved.
You won't break bread.
I won't break bread with the fucker, with the motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid thing. I understand, but it's my personal
No,
little
no, it's
thing.
not. And I mean, to me, it makes complete sense as to what you're saying. And honestly, I've never really looked at it that way. And I guess I've never really gone into that much depth as to that, because of course, like at this, like with me, is if I don't like them, I'm just not gonna hang out with them. As far as if I don't have to see them more than what I don't need to, then I'm just gonna kind of avoid the whole situation altogether. At least with me, if like you said, if I have to talk to them, it's just gonna be strict business, whatever it is, and then just from there, fucking, you're dead to me.
Yeah, business, whatever's good for business, you know. That's what I say. You know, it's like I talk to the sons of bitches at work, right?
Exactly, and that's what I was referring to. That it's just like yeah, there's several people at work where they're just fucking vicious snakes, and just like if they,
I bet you they're Catholics. No, no, I'm kidding. They're probably not. You know. But I mean, what I'm saying is, you're right. You know, there's a lot of people, and that's something I still don't understand. How can you how can you be that way? Like, how can you? I can't do it. Like, I really can't. Like, how can you be like really good and really like, oh yeah, you're right, and then it gets going fuck you, right? Like, we have a friend of ours. We won't name it because we're not gonna say if it's a her or a he. And this it motherfucker, this it will talk really nice while I'm in front of it. But as soon as I leave, it starts fucking around. And like if I'm not around, it goes and fucks with Mr. Next. And it goes and fucks with other people. And I'm like, huh, what a bitch. Now, it got its power taken away. And now it's like, oh my God, I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to. It is no longer a supervisor. And now it's not, damn it. It's not happy because she doesn't have, but whose fault is it? It's her own fucking fault. Why should that? Just because she was doing favors for certain people that she was always gonna be being able to do whatever the fuck she wanted to do, you know. So you know, but my point is, it was being a dick, and now that she doesn't have any power, she's starting to see that. Oh wait, people are being dicks to me too now, and it's fucking hilarious. I think you know who it is,
mm-hmm.
as Barney the
Wow.
dinosaur.
Not, and that's just like it's just a fucking like my mind is blown because it was just like wow, like to actually, because yeah, people don't really see that other side of them. I don't know if it's just they're just blind or oblivious to what is it. What is my friend? They're just not self-aware.
I think they're self-aware. I think that life makes you that way. The the problem
Yes
with
and no. I think some people are just aren't, but like you say, yeah, some are, some aren't. It just really depends on each case. Is just very, I guess, a special case with everybody. But
yeah, because if you sit down and you look at its life, just the little snippets that I know, you realize that life has been a bitch to it. You know,
mm-hmm.
life hasn't been kind. Whatever she it fuck, whatever fucking troubles it has gone through, it turned her into this. Uh, there's templates and molds. I've always seen this. There's always patterns. There's always people that fit a certain template or a certain pattern. They experience certain things, and thus they turn out to be that way. There's this term in Spanish, "mamá luchona." And there's a template for that. And like, if you really start going into that and you start looking into these kind of people, and you're like, oh shit, they all fit the same fucking template, and then they all have the same fucking attitude. It's like, fuck the world. I'm gonna fight for my kids, and that turns you into a fucking dick. You know, some of them actually succeed and do everything they can, and they do it for a good cause. But I guess they get it so caught up with like it's me against the world, that they stop looking into a mirror and going like, wait, I shouldn't be this going at this hard because there's no need. They don't know when to stop. I get it. That's my observation that they don't. I think that's the biggest issue with them is like they don't know when to stop going hard. Right? They can be 65 and they'll still be throwing drop kicks. Like, bitch, calm down. Right? You don't need to be no punching nobody. Well, you say TDs playing soccer with your TDs. No.
Yeah, no, and I understand, I get it, and yeah, I don't know. It just, I guess the cases that I've had or that I've had to deal with is just, I guess it's been the same boat, but then at the end of the day, it's just like, why is it that with some people, kind of like if you're in or they're within your group, they're a certain way, and then outside of your group, it's just like, oh, no, kind of
Yeah.
like Mean Girls, you can't sit with us.
That's cool.
Like that movie Mean Girls.
Oh yeah. I mean, in reality, there's it's sad, the way things are right now. I mean, I we live in an age where any little thing is gonna cause you to be. We live with so much stress, with so much shit in our brains, with so much shit being stuffed down our throats that sometimes it's hard just to be kind and be a human and be
Yeah, I guess it's just more difficult for some people at the end of the day. Like I'm sure everybody has their things that they're dealing with, their everything, of day to day life, I guess you could say. But it's just kindness goes a long way. At the end of the day, you can't really
yeah.
try
And I
to hurt
get
everybody for what you're going through. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think that that if anything that people take away from this podcast, besides that we're both assholes, is the fact that in reality, our main goal is to open people's minds, but like more, more to a more extent, is to people to be kind to each other. It doesn't
Yeah.
cost you a goddamn thing to be kind. Be courteous with each other. Like just because they look different, just because they act different, just because they're a little different than us, doesn't mean that they're bad. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't gather with them.
Mm-hmm.
The people on the corner that are looking for shelter, the homeless people, people that just came to this country and need a little bit of help, people that are sick, people that are old, people that can't defend themselves. We should be kind to those people, because at the end of the day, we don't know where life is going for us, right? We
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's going to happen to us. We don't know if one day we're going to be in that corner asking for help and no one's going to help us. We we really need to help each other out. And I think if everybody just does one act of kindness, whatever fucking act of kindness it is, I think we've earned ourselves a little slice of heaven if you believe in it.
Yeah, and honestly, that just kind of going back to the whole church thing when it's just like, yeah, why can't they do the same thing when if they have all those riches? Like, what? There's so many people that are struggling to say that, are they really doing everything to help? Like, not I'm saying everybody, but those, trying to do more
Yeah, and
as a.
it's a business, of course not. Any business, politics are a business, hospitals are a business. Everything is a business. Everything's about money, 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 money,
Mhm.
money, money, and you really go more than that. You start realizing that currency, right? What else is currency? Maybe your eternal soul, Mister Next. You don't know. It's like we don't know, right? It's like maybe money is corruption. I guess that's what Jesus said. Hey, don't be rich, dog. That shit ain't cool. And then that's when he crucified his ass. Cause like, fuck you, man. We need some cash money. Come in, come in, come in.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, if you really think about it, if you really like sit down and think about heaven, what is heaven? You're gonna start realizing, shit, Soviet Union. Everybody's speaking fucking Russian up there, dog.
There's, I don't know. I guess that we won't know until we actually go. We'll find out.
If I mean, like I said, like future podcasts coming along or coming next, or we're gonna speak on that too, about heaven. What is heaven, right? What the fuck are you gonna do in heaven? Like, do you really want to go to heaven, Mister Next? Do you like want to fucking be a little angel with little harps and playing fucking ring, ring, whatever, pasito duranguense and shit? Like, what are you gonna do in heaven? Like, anyways, like another one. Like, why do I always look up into the sky? What's so curious, Also, we're gonna talk about what is God? Like, what is a God? Like, go into detail on like what we all believe or what we all think. Like, extraterrestrials and flying saucers, but people think that's kind of dumb. But if you believe in a God, you already believe in extraterrestrials. You already believe in aliens. Because where does God live?
In the sky.
In the sky. He don't live on Earth, right? So just by that, he's an extraterrestrial. Just by definition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like we're gonna touch on all these subjects. We have a lot of subjects, a lot of discussions ahead of us, Mr. Next, and I hope we continue this podcast. And we, like I said, we try to open people's minds a little bit more, and we just keep, getting more of a audience. One person, like, comment, share. If you think that this can help anybody uh, that's stuck or that doesn't know what's going on, I think that we try to, make sense of things that people question a lot. And
that a lot of people might not have, the other people to share it with, so they just will try to help everybody out.
Yeah, try to, at least try to keep you entertained, pass the time. And like always, we say we'll talk to you when we end the podcast, and we really mean it. We'll talk because this is what it is. We're just talking to you. We might be talking to each other, but you're number 3 or number 4, whoever's listening. You're part of our table. We can have lunch together if you want. We're all good.
We'll break bread if we like
you. Yeah, I mean. So, with that said, Mr. Next, I think it's time for us to end the podcast.
I think so. So, everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, we'll talk to you.